SI joint decompression through psoas activation in a scissoring of the pelvis and spiral weight shift. So we have the explanation for it. How do we execute this? I roll this acetabulum down and forward, so this hip rolls down and forward as the other one will roll up and back. And you want to feel it as though you take your overhand on that upper butt right under the iliac crest and you spiral that down and back. You don't want the hip to just hike up. That's not the point. We have to also account for, we need this anterior tilt of this ilium, of this fan-shaped half of the pelvis. Or just think of the acetabulum, the hip socket, rolling forward in space. That's through the lens of something like Bertos, where he talks about perceived centers of rotation. So as we roll it down and forward, the other one will float up and roll back. You can have one sort of in front in the psoas area running forward as the other hand rolls back. So it's down and forward, down and back is the cue through the hands, and that makes sure you don't just end up with a hike of the hip linearly, that you're actually ending up with this rotation, because that scissoring like this is what allows the sacrum to turn like a rudder. So I put that under tension and we get, and what happens is I try to feel that deep activation, that psoas, that iliopsoas activation. I feel that, I maintain that activation through the entire trajectory. I slowly bring it back, trying to not lose that sensation. And so this allows me to find sort of that full range in that spiral of the pelvis, that scissoring of the pelvis, that anterior, that front body lengthening side with the back body lengthening side, the anterior tilt with the posterior tilt. And so I can condition that psoas line in spiral. And that's ultimately in locomotion what allows us to float the leg, is the spiral towards that hip inflection allows us to float that leg. So this just gives us a chance for me to find, can I put that psoas under tension and maintain it under tension in full range? And that's what decompresses that same side SI joint for me. My theory of what this is in my body is that this is sort of an underactive psoas, underactive left hip flexors, because I've spent so much of my life playing viola, spiraled to my left side, which just compressed this area, shortened it, so it's harder neurologically to activate. For there to be that neuromuscular activation of that area, it's harder to recruit because it's been in this chronically shortened position. So we're training it to lengthen, but I'm giving resistance to that rotation of trunk, that rotation at sternum level with this scissoring of the hip bones. And that's what allows me to condition this in spiral, to give it an understanding of what it is in lengthened position to be challenged, and then to keep it maintained in activation when it goes into its shortened position. Just kind of waking up this area of my body in general.